Welcome back to the Crossover Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, alongside my co-hosts, Alan, Daquan, and Chris. What's up?
Yo,
I'm still sick.
Still sick, bro. I'm sorry.
It's awful.
Well, did you hear about the FDA removing medicine off the shelves because apparently there's an agreement that does not work?
Yeah.
You heard about that?
This is a while back.
It happened a little while ago.
I just heard about that like this past week. So anyway, today's topic is preservation in media, games, TV, movies,
Anything related, music, yeah.
anything related.
The reason I'm bringing it up, recently Sega is delisting a shit ton of their games. And it's not just Sega that's doing it, but and Sega was the one that most recently pulled things like Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and a bunch of other things from like the Xbox store. And as well as their Sega Classics collection, they're also pulling that. I think all in total, it's like over 60 games off of Steam and Xbox are being pulled down.
Jeez.
That's a lot. Didn't Nintendo close also their store this year for the
3DS and the Wii?
Yeah.
So a bunch of games in there, I'm sure, is lost that they could put on Switch, but they probably won't.
They probably won't. You're right.
Yeah, probably won't.
No.
Wasn't there a time when like PlayStation closed their store, right?
They closed their PlayStation 3 store.
They announced that they're going to close the store, and people got very upset. But when Microsoft announced they're going to close their store, people were like, "Oh, blah, blah." Not as a set for some reason."
Because it's less people.
Say what?
Yeah,
It's less people.
that plus like you can get most of the games that Microsoft offers elsewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for Sony, you can pretty much only get it from them.
Same with Nintendo.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
That is.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, what?
We could just sue everybody.
You want to sue people for preservation?
I would.
How is that going to work?
I'll figure it out.
I mean, you can figure that out. I mean, to be fair, I mean, the idea that if someone purchased it, they should have access to it. And if your updates came with the game or somebody purchased the product and they aren't able to re-download it elsewhere or they can't get a certain version of it, I think there is some type of conversation to be talked about digital ownership.
I agree.
Yeah,
Completely agree.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation about EULA agreements.
Yeah, the mulas.
Yeah, and just exactly what it is. It means to buy digital goods. Like, do you actually own it? Do you own a license of it? Is owning a license of it the same as owning it? Why is it not? What laws are there to protect it? You know, you have the European Union that is a lot more strict on that stuff, and then you have Australia that's a little bit more, and then America that's not at all. So, like,
well, California is now.
Yeah, I heard about that. But
wait, what happened in California?
They made it to where you have to anybody that sells something in California, they have to change their storefront to say that you are licensing a product and not purchasing it.
That's why if you signed into Steam within the last couple of weeks, you had to agree to a new service agreement that like they show it on there. You're buying the license of the product.
Is that for any tech that's being used in California, like movies, like any?
I think it's more software.
It's software in general. Because I think Amazon has taken some steps too, but I can't remember where theirs landed.
Gotcha.
Sorry, random side tangent. That's really funny. When we were recording the last episode, I didn't record it. I streamed it, so it's on my Twitch. I gotta go download it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Listen, at least it's somewhere.
We have it. It's still there. It's just, you know. I got an email and it said, "Hey, whatchamacallit, here's your Twitch stream summary." And I go, "I haven't streamed in like 3 months. What do you mean?" And the last thing is just to give you Jeremy an indication of when I last streamed. The title was "Time to maybe hit Garyu tonight" on Tekken 8. And so for those that don't know, Garyu is like the first red rank, and I'm like 7 ranks above that now. And I just think it's so funny that I somehow just hit the fucking go live button instead of record.
Bro, you're losing it, dude.
I'm, as you can see, bro, I slept like 2 hours last night. All right.
Okay. That sucks.
All right, we can keep it going.
Uh,
I just thought that was funny. I was like, what the fuck is this?
When did PS4 come out?
PS4 came out in 2014?
2014?
It was 13.
Yeah, I think. No, 2013 in December.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because Destiny came out that same year.
I just remember that like it's around the time we graduated high school or we
Yeah,
got
it's
it
right
because I
around
still
that
had an
time.
Xbox 360.
2013.
right after
Oh my
360.
god! You see why I say I'm old, Quan?
Yeah, we graduated
Oh, it's
2013. Yeah. Me too.
No,
Me too.
2014 we graduated, but I remember getting it that year. I got mine used from a pawn shop.
I think mine was just from GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, well, that's probably like the beginning of the end of like games going from just going straight digital. Because
Yeah.
before that it was just PS3, Xbox 360,
360.
all still physical games, and then once the PS4 hit, digital. It's
Yeah.
I really do like. I still like to have physical copies, but you can't deny, and it sucks that digital downloads is just way more convenient.
They are.
But there still has to be a way for the consumer to like buy a game off the PS3 or Xbox 360 or whatever to still be able to play that game on a newer console or newer whatever.
Yeah.
See, that's where you run into the issue of like I think we've talked about this before. Just how much do game companies have an obligation to keep those old services alive? You know,
Yeah,
just because you
it
bought
costs
it,
money, for sure. I get that.
Do they
I don't
still
think
have
they
the
need to do that
responsibility?
though. I don't think they have to keep it alive because
There's other ways to do it.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
other ways to handle that. Like if you make a game, obviously there's going to be a PC variant of something because it's made on a PC. So the obligation should be that there is one PC variant that is given to the FTC, and then anyone with a proper license can have access to that product.
Yeah, because I was gonna say there's
Like,
a lot of games on Steam that like if it requires a product key, like MMOs and stuff. Like there's nothing stopping game developers from just giving you a product key when you purchase the game, and then using that product key to re-download for other systems or whatever the case may be. Maybe not other systems, but like let's say you buy it off of the PlayStation Store, you have that product key, you no longer have it, but you have like the next generation PlayStation, the store got shut down or whatever, you should still be able to have access to then go download it for your PlayStation.
One thing I forgot, just remembered now, is that the Library of Congress actually has old games in their
Some of them. Yeah,
inventory.
not all of them. Yeah,
Not all of them. No,
they have to be culturally
I'm
significant.
pretty sure they're still working on it. But the fact that the Library of Congress has like these old physical games, but we can't get like just whatever is kind of wild.
Yeah,
I think it falls back to like, let me just say something real quick. You guys know how like there's certain products that their names have now been associated with the product itself and not the brand. So like Kleenex, Band-Aid, Velcro, a bunch of other ones, right? Where like they'll lose their trademark because the product itself and the name of it is so synonymous with that type of product that it's no longer like like they can't trademark it anymore, right? I think video game companies are holding on to the fact that if they release like those digital files of like old games so that anybody can keep it in their hard drives, you'll lose that trademark over it where you can't claim it as yours. Now it's just public domain, right? I think that's what sucks about like digital media like that, because it'll just once it's out there, no matter what your personal intentions are, somebody out there is going to make it it's going to ruin it for everybody, you know?
I think there's a company that's been working on, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but they've been working on the NFT stuff.
Mm.
And they partnered up with another company, I think it's called Sriracha. But the way that they have postured their game preservation concepts is that obviously the video game company would own the rights to the game, but you would be purchasing your key to builds of the game.
Um,
So, but you would also have access to the history of the game at the same time because it'll be stored on like its own blockchain. And those scenarios I actually can agree with for NFT stuff.
But how much extra work is that on like the developer side or like the company side for them to do that? Like, is it that much harder, or is it just like
No,
yeah.
it's very simple. Like the same way that they use version control, and like even if they use Amazon Web Services for hosting, you're just sending up a build to Sriracha instead of just to yourself. But developers don't want to do it for the fact of it decentralizes where you have to go for their product.
Gotcha.
And it's got to be beyond a like tactical greed conversation because even for those games that get delisted, it is no financial gain for that studio if somebody else gets a hold of those files.
Right.
Like if the players had these files, nothing would actually. As a matter of fact, if the players had them, it might actually spark more money for these other people because Google will probably start kicking up as people search these things more. They're going to be looking up mods. People are going to be talking about the old games. A bunch of new videos will come out about everything everybody's playing. It actually benefits the companies to let these people just have the game if they purchase it and like have accessibility. But I think they're just not intelligible people in charge of these companies.
Most of the time, no.
Like, I think that's just where this breaks down to. Like people just they don't know the right, not even the right. They don't do what makes sense. It's always some weird thing of like, oh, but the policies, and it's like, have you ever thought the policies are kind of stupid? Like, sure, preservation of the company, but y'all gonna be fine releasing this other Crash Bandit and Spyro game to the public after they purchase it is not going to mess up anything.
So real quick, are you saying that if this NFT blockchain bullshit, are you saying that it's okay for consumers to have like old versions of the game? Like
I think it's okay. I think it's okay to do that specifically because the live service situation is only new, and back in 2008 and back, everybody just pretty much had the original game to begin with.
Just clarify,
So,
not the game, not the engine, but just the game.
Correct, just the game.
Okay.
So like they'd be able to say like, so like with Amazon Web Service or using Azure, whichever one you send up to, or even whatchamacallit, what's that thing called? GitHub or Perforce, you can just go back and get a different revision. It's the same concept. So like, oh, as a gamer, I don't like update 623. I'm gonna go back and get update 5 or whatever. And that's local. That's for that player because they purchase it. So they just go to the blockchain and say, all right, this update cool. And that's for them. Obviously, if it's a live component, there's a check to see whether or not, if you're on the same as everybody else. And then if you want to play with a community on a specific version, then you can do self-hosting and choose your own, whatever.
Okay.
But
okay, that makes sense to me until you said that part. Because now for me it sounds like a cost factor of like how much would this cost if someone was playing on the old version but they want to host like something with other people. That's still a server cost just to do that, right?
The server cost is on Sriracha, not the developer specific. If I understood them properly. So the idea is they crunch down a game to where it is so small of a footprint that all you really need is so you just need the game files. So as long as you have the game files and whatever C++ that you have involved, or C sharp, whatever the base coding of the project is, that will be the one size for the project. And then everything else that's implemented just gets crunched down. So like, as far as hosting, is as if you're just hosting like a mega version of the game, but the mega version is like still smaller than Call of Duty,
Mm-hmm.
and
Gotcha.
you only have to host one time. Everybody else is just calling to it.
I mean, I think from all of this, it sounds great and everything, but I'm struggling to see where the benefit for the company comes from. Like, yes, you can have some more traction for your game, or like maybe either other related projects, but like, what's the cost benefit analysis on that? Like, do you think they're actually going to do it?
I think the biggest benefit for companies is that they will only grow a user base.
I can see that.
Because if you have, let's say, fighting games, if someone likes the way something worked 2 years ago, and they had this game on the chain for however long, and there is a specific group that likes that setup, they would just go play that setup.
Now here's the problem. Here's the problem with that.
So
If that person was a competitor who likes a version from like 2 years ago, but they're still competing now, they can't do that. They have to compete on the new version.
that's again one of those things to where, now I'm gonna be rude when I say this. The competitive people and the people who are at the apex of gaming, they should be able to have their own bubble. Right. Like, I think those people need to be in a bubble, because we can't keep having games in the trend of just those folks.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I mentioned, like, this only grows it, because for the fact that if you want to have tournaments, and obviously, like I mentioned, you can have a live version where it's like, yo, this is Go Live. If everybody is trying to compete, you need to go ahead and be up on Go Live. If not, we can have legacy tournaments where people can be over here, because like Yu-Gi-Oh does this as well.
There's definitely
So,
like
like,
legacy tournaments for fighting games and for fighting games for sure. Not so much for like FPSs or League. Because how are you gonna do a legacy tournament for League? How is that gonna happen?
well, again, that's again a self-hosting situation, because if everybody has access to stuff, then somebody else, like, at that point, it's on the consumer to host it yourself. So that's what I was mentioning with
I was
the
gonna
chain.
say, because with things like that, the people that run the tournaments, they're the ones that are gonna be running down on what version y'all are playing. And if there's a company, not company, I guess ecosystem standard is the word I would use, because I can't think of the actual word. If there's a standard and we just all agree, hey, since these games are being played competitively everywhere online, and now we're going to be playing them as an esport, just play the live version, and whether you like it or not, and that's just the standard, it won't be an issue. And then as a TO, if someone else runs a tournament that's not like a major, like a Tekken World Tour or something like that, just like an actual, they have the option to be legacy, and they can announce it.
Exactly. Right. And they can just announce that. And then, older folks can pop up that like the legacy one, newer people that's like, oh, maybe I go back and get better at this. And then, maybe, because even with that, you can go back, and when all the complaints that happen with the live versions of games are looking like, oh, I loved it when they did this, and I hate it when they did this. Developers can actually experiment with their games and find out and get proper data over time to say, like, oh, look, even though we've released 18 changes in the past 3 years, we have the majority of our people still in this change era. So obviously this is what they like. Let's go back to this.
The
So
crazy
you can have that type of info.
The crazy thing is, it's 2024, and FGC is still playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Third Strike, old Guilty Gear, which are obviously very old and 20-year-old versions of the current games. And I think fighting game companies are, maybe with the exception of Namco, because I haven't seen it from Namco, they re-release all their games for the most part. The majority of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but like Power Stone. We only got one Power Stone.
We didn't get Power Stone 2, which is sad, but
yeah. But like Capcom, they released their games. SNK, they released their games. Namco, they don't do anything.
If you want a copy of Tekken 3, you better go fucking find it on the PS1.
Find that PS1. You go find that mom and pop store.
Not a PS1.
Good luck.
No,
Like even recently, Capcom released their Marvel collection of like 6 games.
There's like 7 or 8, I think.
Like 7 or 8 games. Yeah.
Even including the Punisher, which I was not expecting.
No, you can play that shit right now on PC and PS5 and Xbox.
Yep.
So I will give Capcom kudos for that.
Capcom's always been, for the most part, Lord knows they don't do it to all of their IPs, but they've done a pretty good job with most of their IPs to do like to make it accessible and for you to get a game one way or another, whether it's like a remake or just a re-release or a remaster. Like they do pretty good job. Capcom again for the 3rd month in a row. Where's Darkstalkers? I don't want a re-release of old Darkstalkers. Give me a new one. And Dino Crisis.
Dino Crisis. Well, we had that. Remember, it was Exoprimal.
No,
Exoprimal.
It was
that game still alive?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
it was actually pretty fun, to be honest.
It was pretty, like I played the beta. It was pretty fun.
Oh, I played it because it was on the Game Pass. So me and a couple friends played it, and it was just dumb fun. Just turned our brains off, killed some dinos.
Exactly. Dumb fun.
I just couldn't get over the controls. Like it just felt like
I played on PC, so it's fine.
I always play with controller. I played on PC too, but on my controller, and
it felt pretty good on a keyboard.
It's I don't know. Maybe I'm used to having like weight when you play on a controller, and that just
it was not there.
That thing.
I get it. I mean, I didn't have I don't remember much of the controls, so I can't really speak now.
I feel like they were inspired by Warframe, but only slightly, and then they stopped. It was like, okay, we got about 10%, boys. All right, let's stop right there, and then everything else is looter shooter, whatever. But I always felt like I was like shooting through like a piece of paper or something. Everything just felt weird.
I mean, you were shooting through like thousands of dinosaurs.
True.
How do you want that to feel?
I guess and I don't want to keep comparing everything to Gears of War, but like Gears of War, like Warhammer, like you can get some visceral impact of fighting a big group of folks. But
I was gonna say most recently, Space Marine 2 feels pretty fucking good.
Yeah, like that. There's a way to do it, but it just felt like you just saw numbers. It felt like the shooting in the Division 2. There it is. That's what it felt like. It felt like the Division shooting, and that's just it. Just RIP to good shooting. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Anybody that likes the Division,
yeah,
I'm happy for you. But that shooting is rough. Even the shotgun doesn't even feel like a shotgun. I don't understand. But yeah, I think NFT is a good idea. NFT blockchain combo is a good idea for the game preservation. Give like a master key to the government or whoever.
I think it's a good idea and a premise, but I feel like most people that are working with NFTs aren't using it in that manner, and that's why it's really looked down upon.
Yeah.
I mean, true. Yeah, that's why I mentioned earlier. I know that it's a thing, but if we're talking about a way to do this where it's like more lossless and everybody can ultimately just have it, I think it's a pretty good solution. Because right now, I can't say that every studio needs to self-host. I can't say that because I get there a server cost. But at the same time, if there is a solution out there and the government can pay for it, and then there's just like a tax
for a video game.
Well, I think if they do, and I hate to bring this up, if there's a specific tax on the studios, I think that'd be fine because these studios get a lot of tax breaks to begin with. So if there is like a small fee to the studio of like, oh, there's like a 2% tax on your sales that we're going to use for game preservation, I think that's fine. Like, what are they really losing at the end of the day other than some revenue on a product that only helps them to stay alive?
The chances of that happening.
Oh yeah.
Slim to none.
Small.
Yeah.
Less than 1%.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It always gets me when they're trying to like when they, it always gets me when the government tries to bring up video games and like laws and shit, and it never goes through.
No, because it's the biggest money printer on the planet.
Right. But they keep talking about it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring this up. I'm sorry. Like every school shooting, they want to blame everything, including video games, and they do nothing about it because they can't do nothing about it.
It's Call of Duty.
It's
So
Grand
much
Theft
shooting in
Auto.
Call of Duty. It's Grand Theft Auto. I mean, honestly, I ain't gonna lie. Grand Theft Auto let people be psychopaths. Like I've seen somebody play Grand Theft Auto, and they walked some old lady down with a shotgun. They look like, yeah, say something, say something. I'm just looking like,
Yeah, and apparently in Grand Theft Auto role playing lets you cheat on your wife or whatever. What happened with that? Did you guys hear about that?
Oh,
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, so I did. So there's like a community of RPers, and it's like all the content creators. They're like on a server together, and this guy, he's like a professional player. What is it?
One quick aside. GTA RP is basically where you take over NPCs, and instead of you having your like individual player like you do in GTA Online, you take over like cops, EMS. You can be a regular person or whatever, but like the whole point of it is you role play as an NPC.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of dedicated servers to just this, and they take that shit very seriously. Just for anybody that didn't know what that was.
So I think the guy is like a professional player in like CS:GO or so. I don't remember what he was. He's a well-known content creator though, like he's known in the scene. And his wife is a GTA RPer. And she was RPing a relationship with somebody else, which is like normal, I guess. But the guy then later finds out. It was a while ago when it happened, like a month ago maybe. And I didn't really look too much into it, so I'm sorry if I'm getting details wrong. But his wife ended up cheating on him with the other GTA RP streamer, and he used to play Overwatch named the Moon. And apparently, it then started becoming a whole scandal because obviously this guy is like known in the scene. His wife's cheating on him with another content creator through this GTA RP, and then it became this whole thing where it's like these GTA RPers are like, it's like this whole fucking community of. They're just fucking each other.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. That's I thought about that when talking about it.
Put that love GTA. I'd say that something is they should be studied. That's all I'm saying. I think they should be studied because GTA is a very
study for these GTA players right here.
Yeah, they need to be studied. I think.
Just wait till GTA 6 comes out.
Dear God.
GTA 6. Oh my God.
People are just gonna run rampant.
And
it says place in Florida.
Right.
Oh, does it? I can't.
Yeah,
it
does.
Yeah. It's funny.
So everyone can be a Florida man, you know.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I can't wait to play as a Cuban person who's misrepresented and very heavily stereotyped.
100%. 100%. I don't know why they took so. Anyway, the GTA people, the amount of hold that video games have on this world is hilarious. And legislation, they're not trying to mess with it too much because of the amount of money that comes in from all this.
Right.
So much tax revenue. So
more than like $1 billion a year.
Over.
You said
probably.
I said making at least more than $1 billion a year, I'm sure, right?
The games industry?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more than that.
Oh no. What is it reported last time? I think it was at like 180.
I was about to say, bro, I think Fake Go in 2021 broke 1.4 billion alone.
Yeah, about to say, and we not even. Yeah, that's So in 2024, the games industry brought in 455 billion.
Yeah,
can't touch that, dude.
And like just to show a comparison, in 2023 it was 183 billion. So it's just expanding exponentially at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. This is just highly disgusting. And I actually wonder. Let me see. I'm just very interested how this compares to vehicles. Okay, so video games, and just to put this into perspective, video games right now are about a third of the vehicle revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So a necessity that most Americans need. Video games are a third of what they bring in.
Crazy.
That's kind of crazy.
So yeah, they ain't trying to mess with that. They look like that's a third of our economy that's about to disappear. We can't be messing with this.
Yeah.
But and that same conversation is like, well, then game preservation would be good for this. Then yeah, because then people just keep playing more games. But also, I guess the negative part comes in because now they can't force you into like FOMO, which is the current bestseller.
Yes, it's a huge
Nintendo's
deal.
real good at that.
They're fantastic. They are fantastic. Agents of FOMO, one might call them.
One might say the creators of it at this point.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I mean, I keep thinking like if there's like a market crash, would that help it? Probably not. If there was an idea of they found a way to make money off of it, would that be good? Probably not, because then FOMO is still going to be a thing, except it'll be build based. Yeah, because technically Call of Duty does this already with the Call of Duty HQ. You can just go back and play the different Call of Duties through the HQ, and people hate it.
Yes, I absolutely hate
No,
it.
the only reason it's bad is because of the way it's implemented and the way the menus are.
Is very bad.
It's not
and
the
that
system
skins don't all
itself,
carry
but
over.
yeah.
And so the other part too, with the NFT stuff, your skins will be able to carry over from all your games. Everything you purchase, you can just move stuff around if it's allowed from the developer. But I would never see this being able to work with something like Fortnite. It would just destroy their entire business model.
Yeah, I can see that. It wouldn't work. Epic is just a moving train that's just not going to stop.
Imagine 10 years from now, video game preservation actually takes off, and then I just started thinking about it. What if they start like, as an aspect of game preservation, Fortnite skins get added in?
Yeah, I can see that.
I need it all to stop. I need Fortnite to end. It needs to end. No. I know we talked about game preservation. I need Fortnite to end.
He thought about it for
must
10
stop.
seconds and said, "No, I'm not having it."
No. I'm not having it. Like
At this point, it is like a culturally significant piece of media, so I could see it being in the National Archives for sure. It's just massive, man. It's too big.
It is a massive, like I said, a massive train locomotive, wherever you want to call it. That's just this is not gonna stop.
Right, but hear me out though. Why? Like I
got one word for you. You ready?
COVID.
Children.
Right. Oh, children. Yeah, they're everywhere. But like the
Mom, can I have the V-Bucks, please? So I can get the Darth Vader skin from Fortnite. Isn't he from Fortnite, not from Star Wars?
Well, these children don't even know what they're purchasing. That's the crazy part. Like
Laura Croft from Fortnite.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know
Fortnite.
if it is a cultural relevance rather than just a social relevance. Like, I don't think culturally it means anything. It's just a funnel to get children to talk to each other.
But technically speaking, based on how culture is molded and shaped, would it not, with Fortnite not affecting an entire generation of people, is that not culturally impactful?
I don't think so, for the fact of like what was actually done in Fortnite. Like, I don't think, like, I would say, what's a game that would be a bit more up there for this conversation?
Mario.
I would say maybe no.
Galaga.
What's
Pac-Man.
Pokemon?
Nah. It's
Destiny. I'm just naming games now.
Destiny. There we go. Destiny is a culturally relevant video game because it transformed how an entire media is consumed.
Mm.
Also,
Like Fortnite would not exist if Destiny did not pop off. It just would not have done it. So
Oh, because of the live service aspect, or
because of the
what?
live service aspect, like
Gotcha,
there was
gotcha.
an actual cultural relevance to Destiny, but Fortnite is
Yeah.
just another way to talk to people, another way to say like, oh, this is another place to funnel money. There's nothing special about Fortnite other than, and by the way, anybody listening, Fortnite is amazingly well put together product. Like Epic are some savages for getting to where it's at, but
Yeah.
it is just another game that happens to latch on to children, or children latch on to it. That's about it. Like I think if they got rid of it, the kids would just go someplace else. Like they'll just find something else to do. Because even right now, I think I looked at the Fortnite creator info. The Fortnite Battle Royale is still the most played mode in Fortnite, but right after that is all the other stuff. Like so many kids aren't even actually playing Fortnite anymore. They're just playing the creative modes that their friends are making or whatever. It's like the same conversation as Halo.
Yeah.
So it's like I think Fortnite can dip out and we'll be fine. I think it'd be fine. I'll be even more than fine if it just dips out. I'd be like, "Good job, boys!" Because that game killed my game, so I'm really upset. I just see that murderer pouncing around every single day, and it bothers me. But
wait, what game are you talking about?
Paragon.
Yeah, Paragon.
Oh, Paragon. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. Look, I ain't holding a grudge.
Like, if it makes you feel better, I went ahead and paid real money for Predecessor.
Oh, I feel
Alright.
bad for you. I'm so
I
sorry.
paid real money for that, and then like a month and a half later, it went free to play, and I'm still salty about that.
Damn, that's wild. Here I am with looking at my library. Predecessor just sitting there, not paid.
Right. Exactly. I'm sorry, Chris.
I was like, you know what? I heard about Paragon. It was always so fun. People liked it.
That was good.
This looks good.
Yeah.
I even went a step further. I bought myself and my wife a copy of it,
no.
and
Oh,
now it's just sitting there.
no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, man, you should. Yeah, nah, man, nah. That's yeah.
I think at one point I don't have that much playtime on it, so I think I still might have the option to refund it through Steam, but I'm just gonna leave
You may, because that game is an abomination. They should have left Paragon to die. It happened. It just like it's sad. It's so sad to me. See, that is the one way not to do game preservation. If any developer watches this, do not do what they've done to Paragon. If a game is dead, let it die. However it died is how it's preserved. Okay, just leave it there.
I was just about to ask you, do you think they did the right move by letting them by letting people get their assets for free on the store?
I think they did it well for the fact of it's a good learning point. Like if you understand the pipeline for how they put those characters together, like look at their like materials and all the other stuff, it's pretty good for understanding how Paragon was built.
But in terms of preservation, it's not.
In terms of preservation, no, even preservation, I think it was cool. Like
Okay.
if you had a favorite character in that game, they pretty much just gave it to you. It's like, oh, you want this character?
Right.
Have him. You want a 3D printed character? Go 3D print it. You want to have your own animated film with the characters? By all means. It's like you all paid for this. Here you go. And for Epic, it was I think what's it say, $12 million worth of a product just given out. Like
That's like a good morning for Fortnite.
exactly. Like it's not even the most difficult thing for developers to even pull off, and it does not hurt them, especially after things have been purchased. Because
And what was the problem? I'm sorry. What was the problem then?
the problem is that people then said like, "Oh, we're just going to recreate for Paragon,"
Okay.
and it's like, no, it's dead. That's why they gave these things away. Like they like the moment they did that, there were like 5 studios that popped up and said like, "We're going to build it." And it's
That's
like,
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
it reminds me of Outriders. Like,
Oh my god.
whoever made Outriders, look, y'all made a game. Congratulations, it shipped. But like touting that you're people that worked on Gears of War, and after Gears of War franchise is declining, you pop up with this. It's like you did not do yourself a service. Like it was not a good service comparison to what people actually like. So I just
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was
Oh
fun.
my word! Yeah, well, you liked it too. Both y'all
No,
or
no,
just
I
Jeremy?
was laughing at Jeremy.
No. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you were also just hoping something would pull you from Destiny, but look at you. Look where you at.
Like I said, name another better FPS than Destiny, and I'll go play right now.
I've been saying that for years, my guy. I've been saying that
Battlefield 2?
for
No.
years.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6?
A better FPS.
Well,
in
I
general.
mean,
Titanfall is a better FPS.
Titanfall 2 is a better FPS.
It's a better FPS.
Especially if we're talking about a PvP competitive FPS.
Let me rephrase then. A better current FPS that people are actively playing right now.
Okay, so you
And
you
not
might be
getting
looking at it
DDoS.
differently because I'm just saying
Probably.
because if I'm playing an FPS, I'm playing a competitive FPS like Apex, Overwatch, Valorant. I'm not playing a story-based one.
You could have just said like name a better looter shooter.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm joking. I was about to say
No.
Borderlands.
No, Destiny's
Borderlands,
better. Destiny's
Yeah.
better.
So,
looter shooters.
so.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna say I'm having fun with Destiny 2 right now. So
Is that even a looter shooter anymore? Because I feel like it's not. I don't think that's even a good way to classify Destiny anymore.
it's an MMO.
It's like, yeah, it's like an MMO light. I think that's what it is. It's like it just there's because the loot don't matter. It don't even. It's like it's not even. I would take Destiny 1, so I would preserve Destiny 1 and have it with the. See, I just want Destiny 1. Yeah, I just say that. Yeah, I just play Destiny 1.
Still play Destiny 1 right now.
For however long.
For however long, I don't know. But the server's still up. You can still play it.
You
For
can?
now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My PS4 like maybe a couple of weeks ago. My PS4 was on fire trying to play that game.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, God. It's on PC. I think I'll get it off Steam if I can get it. I'll buy it off of Steam because Destiny 2, I
you
can't.
get it on Steam?
No, I don't
I
think so.
think you can.
What? I'm looking at everybody look it up right now. I don't think so.
Wait a second, let's find this.
There is no way.
I'm looking right now. You can't. No,
No,
it's
it's
only
just Destiny 2.
2.
It was like a big freaking thing when it went to this PC. I know they didn't do Destiny 1.
Like you can only play Destiny 1 like on console.
You have to have the
It's through
physical
an
disc.
emulation.
Yeah, you probably
I
could with
see.
emulation. Yeah.
Oh, that's trash.
Not that we would.
So I got to get an Xbox One to play Destiny 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's trash, and it only works on an old Xbox too. It's not even like you can get the brand new ones and expect it to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep talking about the end of the year deals. Look at this, 80% off Star Wars Jedi franchise. That's
There it
crazy. That's crazy.
Woo!
Why?
I'm still working my way through that game. That thing is long.
Oh yeah, just so you can play what is it called? Outlaws next?
God, no.
No, you about to play it next. Don't worry. It's gonna be a good time.
It's just
It's
no. It's gonna.
time.
They're gonna do that same thing that Apple did with the U2 album. I'm just gonna have Star Wars Outlaws in my account. I wouldn't even bought it. They're just gonna add it on there.
That sounds
I
right.
guess this might go hand in hand with preservation, but platforms like Netflix, Amazon, Peacock, Xbox, Game Pass, PS Plus, they always announce their games like a month or whatever, and then like years later they take stuff away. How do you feel about that?
I hate that.
I mean, I hate it, but I know it's a licensing issue, so it's like a bigger problem.
Yeah.
They announce their games and take stuff away.
Like, I think he's more referring to like if Netflix like announces a movie that it's on there, and like it'll be on there for months, weeks, or whatever, and then when you look it up, it's gone.
Right.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine only for the fact of that's how theaters work anyway.
Yeah.
So,
you don't think it's more of like a licensing issue?
I think it is a licensing issue. I think it comes down to it comes down to like nowadays, like I think especially this year, there's more streaming services than there's ever been before, and now, but there's the same amount of content, so you have to split it up between them. I'm sure there's like a lot of backroom talks of like, okay, you can have it for this extended amount of time, and then we got to switch over to this one, and then they got to switch over to another one and stuff like that. So it is super annoying as a consumer, but I can see why it is that way, like as a company.
I honestly, as far as media goes, I'm never upset at the streaming platforms for any of their decisions because their value proposition is disturbingly good. Because I think.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
So you're not upset with Netflix increasing their prices with mediocre content?
No, I'm not upset with that because put it like this: Arcane just came out, and I'm able to watch that, and I only pay $20 a month.
Okay, but that's one good thing out of those many mediocre things they have on their platform.
True, but I've also watched a lot of shows lately on Netflix and Prime. I've been able to go between the two. Like the amount of money it would have taken you to like go and see a lot of these things in theater, or if you had to go and drive down to a Blockbuster or a Redbox, whatever the situation is, all those things added up would be almost like a year of Netflix.
I get it. I'm not okay. First of all, I price increases that happens all the time. I get it. I'm still not okay with someone increasing the price with giving me mediocre content.
Yeah, I
need you to give me some good shit.
It needs to be justifiable, right?
Yeah, the justifiable price.
Like,
yeah.
and you can attest to this. Is it not? It has not gotten cheaper to host things online, like server side wise. Isn't it not cheaper as time goes along?
It actually gets cheaper to host. The issue is the amount of things that need to be hosted. So the traffic becomes more of the problem now than the actual cost. Because even for me, like if I'm trying to be an independent developer and use Amazon or Azure to like have a multiplayer game, if I have a small user base, I as an individual can host my own multiplayer game. So like a company that's making millions and billions of dollars, that's like a blip on their radar for it. But I mean, it's still the conversation of the cost. But when companies use hosting, it's also for assets. It's for other pipelines and stuff. So they have like a couple of different things involved for that hosting situation. But I don't think Amazon and Netflix and them are like running into hosting issues. It's more of just whoever they're purchasing the rights to like have on their platform, they're probably increasing their prices.
One of my issues with Netflix is like maybe they're looking at numbers and viewers and whatnot, but they release actually good shows and then cancel them out after one season.
That's a whole other thing too.
Yeah, but that's that conversation we had earlier, where there's just incompetent people places. Because
for sure.
And again, maybe we don't know the production, and they had a horrible burn
that's
rate.
what I'm saying. Maybe because it costs too much or just not enough viewership. But you make good shows, then you cancel after one season.
Well, they also keep bad shows.
Right.
That's the thing.
So,
isn't it? And also, like they're in a unique position where they're able to actively see how many people are actually watching this, how often they're watching it, for how long they're watching it, right? Like they have all that, those statistics that a lot of like other media doesn't, right? And you'll have shows, and maybe this is like an echo chamber thing where like if depending on the places that you go to talk about this, there's just like an overwhelmingly positive output on it. Whereas if you talk to like an everyday person, people are going to be like, oh, that show was okay, but maybe it's like it's frustrating when you're in one of those places and you're hearing all these great things about a show and then they cancel it and there's no like info released after the fact where Netflix comes out and be like, hey, we understand that you liked it, but here are the numbers, and as you can see, it just doesn't live up to expectations. This is why we had to shut it down.
Like two shows that come to mind is one, Sabrina. The first season was good.
RIP, dude.
After that, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And then The Dark Crystal was just a good show that canceled after one season.
Well,
I didn't even know that was supposed to have more than one season, to be honest.
yeah, it's. I guess the weird part comes into again, like expectations based off of whatever the production cost was.
Yeah.
As a company, they don't owe us that, and I can
Yeah.
come to terms with that situation. But like you're saying, as a consumer,
It'd be nice.
it would be nice. I would say that that is something that would be nice to just say, hey, we didn't hit the sales on this one, so guys, we can't keep it because it's not financially, whatever.
Yeah.
But luckily, you can still go to like certain places and just buy the season outright if you want it somewhere. So I guess that's one thing.
Yeah.
I think my
'Cause
issue
Netflix,
with
they do sometimes release physical media, right?
Yes.
they do.
They do. So like, and that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes down to Netflix and all other streaming platforms, I don't have an issue with them. And originally, when Xbox was talking about doing the Game Pass situation, I was like, oh, cool, because now there's some revenue for developers, and it's following the same model as Netflix. But now I see that's not necessarily the case. So it's like. I don't want to say video games should be held to a higher standard than other forms of media, but I think they should just be held to a higher standard than other forms of media. I guess that's like my best take on why I'm saying yes to one and no to the other. Because whoever's watching, if you're wondering why I'm saying yes to the rest of the media and no to games, is because games is something that should be replayable and it requires human feedback to be successful.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like as a consumer, when you're talking about video games, you play a more active role than you do in any other media, right?
Yeah, you're just watching the other ones. There's nothing else to be done. So
We haven't touched music yet. Like
No.
music, dude, music has so many different messed up things. It's like preservation is the last thing on the list of music. Like that's like I just yeah, the music industry just needs a revamp. It needs to just be redone. Somebody needs to do
agree.
something with them.
I'll say this. I have noticed that, and like I'm not super in touch with like music industry as a whole, but I did even just like from the outside, I've noticed that a lot more artists are becoming more self-aware in the fact that like, yeah, maybe I don't want to go with a giant music company as my backer.
Right.
Maybe I want to try doing this more solo indie independent movements, because like I feel like a lot, and that has to do with TikTok, like putting your name out there, because a lot of the times what a big job of the music company that you sign with is promotion.
Right.
It's getting your name out there, getting you gigs and stuff like that, whereas now you're more likely to see an independent artist make it viral first, and then they either they sign or they continue it as independents. Whereas before, I think it was like the other way around.
Yeah. They usually sign with the studio first, and then they build up from there.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Spotify? So Spotify has been like a hot topic for like the last, I don't know how many years, because they take revenue away from artists.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. A significant amount of it. Yeah, a significant amount.
What's your thoughts?
I even stopped using Spotify.
You did?
Yeah. I don't use Spotify.
Did you replace it with something else, or?
Yeah, I use YouTube Premium.
Okay.
I pay for YouTube Premium because it's roughly the same price. They don't affect the revenue of the artist like Spotify does, and on top of having the whole wide platform that already comes with YouTube Music, you can also add in just videos of music or other things into your playlist from normal YouTube. So it's already bigger and more expansive than Spotify. And then to top it all off, I have no ads on any platform that I use my YouTube account on. TVs, phone, computer, because I hate ads. So I was going to say this earlier, but we changed topics. One of my issues with streaming isn't even necessarily the price increases. It's the versions, right?
Yeah.
So for me, what I think should be the standard across all the board is the cheapest option should just be your one account, and it can only be used on one screen. Like that's the basic one. That's what it should be. And one of the reasons I don't like Hulu as an example, I fucking can't stand Hulu. Hulu is so dog shit. I don't get me wrong. There's good stuff on Hulu. I get it. Like there's probably some of your favorite TV shows, movies, or whatever the fuck on Hulu. I don't give a fuck.
Love Island.
I'm not paying $20 to get no ads on my Hulu.
No, yeah. Like I joke, but yes, we actually, Jenny and I, we just recently canceled Hulu after having it had for, I want to say fucking
Like
almost
at least,
a decade.
yeah, it was like at least 10 years.
At least 10 years, because it just got to be so much money. And honestly, it goes back to that thing where I'm just like, the shows that I'm watching there and how constantly I'm watching it does not justify the $20 a month. It just doesn't.
It's over. That was the best show. So now it's over.
Like I know we have a bundle for Hulu and Disney Plus, but I don't know how much we actually spend on that.
You should probably look.
I think it's $24.
Well, with Disney Plus, we ended up buying the year because it was cheaper.
It's cheaper
back when
though,
it first came out. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I just have Netflix and Prime, and that's it.
Oh, I don't even. The only subscription that I actually physically use that's mine is the Game Pass, because obviously, like, I still think that's one of the best subscriptions, especially in the gaming industry, right? YouTube Premium, because I fucking can't stand ads and I use YouTube the most, and then Shonen Jump.
You still have Shonen Jump?
Yeah, it's $2 a month, and it gives me access to their whole library, even manga that was previously serialized, and it even gives me access to like 18 plus stuff that's like more mature and stuff.
Why is there not something like that for DC Comics?
Because they're stupid. And they're not.
So so like, man, if you want to talk about comics, let's talk about how fucking Amazon gutted the online comic industry, dude. When they took over, I don't even remember what it's called now. Comics Explained. What is it? Comic.
I was going to say, because if DC Comics, especially DC Comics, had a subscription service like Shonen Jump, I'd be paying for it. Even if it was like $5 a month, I'd be paying for it.
I'd pay for that. Yeah.
But back to that, Amazon, they bought this service where you could go on there and you're buying comics from either independent artists or people like DC, and it was such a good website because it was actually paying artists the appropriate amount, and it was all great. The interface was great. It was just no nonsense. You go in there, you read your comics, and you're done. Amazon bought it. They were like, "Oh, we're not going to touch it. We're just going to be funding it." Blah blah blah. No, immediately gutted it. Immediately tried to bundle it into Kindle Unlimited. Now the website is just completely abandoned. It's awful. And back to the YouTube stuff. Yeah, you are right, Alan. I think YouTube pays artists more than Apple and Spotify.
Yeah.
I think the only one that pays more than YouTube is Tidal.
Oh, Tidal.
No, Tidal.
Like Beyonce's platform.
Yeah.
I've never used Tidal.
Honestly, I would say out of all this, like YouTube, I hate to give Google their props, but like they've done decent with their ecosystem.
They've done pretty well. It's kind of it sucks to admit, but they've done a pretty good job. And the minute that
they're not overpriced either.
Yeah, they're not. Like I said, I pay YouTube Premium $15 a month, and I'm getting those $15 worth like 100%. Because not only am I using it every time I'm in the car for like either videos or music, I use YouTube all day at work because I have stuff playing in the background, and I don't have to use any ad blockers, so people still get their monetized. Like these people that are the creators, they still get paid their dues because I'm paying the premium. So, but yeah, like I said, after I got rid of Spotify, because Spotify was just getting too expensive for what it was, I was like, okay, I need to start looking around. And I tried a couple different things, but the minute I used YouTube Premium, I haven't even thought about using another platform.
Wait, so I could be using. I pay for YouTube Premium. I could be using YouTube Premium to use YouTube Music.
Yeah.
It's roped in.
This is how you find out.
You can use YouTube, and that's use YouTube Music. It has its own separate app, and it's like it has the full library. You make playlists. It literally functions just like Spotify. The only difference is when you search up, like, let's say a song, you have the song, like the actual audio file, and then it'll show you YouTube results, like the videos, like it'll show you the music video or mixes. And then you can also search up like on YouTube, especially, you have a bunch of people making music that doesn't always go to Spotify. If you find something you really like, you can put that onto your playlist and it goes through YouTube Music.
Hold the fuck
Yeah.
up. Hold the fuck up.
No, I will say, Jeremy, because you are audio, I will tell you
It's not as
the
good.
audio quality is not as good.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, true. Spotify does have better, but it's still. Hey, listen,
You almost had me.
barely.
You almost had
No,
me.
no.
Please,
YouTube music audio quality is still really good. It's not like amazing, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, like you're not gonna get your Bose like headset, sit down and be looking like, oh, this is just the
Yeah,
crisp. Like I think that still goes to Amazon and Apple for like
yeah.
the best
Amazon for
quality.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not
I
buying
think-
Apple
yeah.
at all. So
sure. Yeah, Amazon's is
I
really good for
mean,
audio quality.
Yeah, I'll be honest. My favorite platform for music is probably Amazon. My only issue is that again, their library is
Not as big.
not YouTube's library.
Yeah.
It's just not the
so,
library.
so Spotify library comparable to YouTube Premium.
No, YouTube
YouTube
has
is
way
massive.
more songs
It's way
than
massive.
the Spotify.
YouTube
Like,
has way more.
Yeah, it has way
yeah,
more.
they have way more. Because just an example, I love the movie Underworld. What is it?
Thought you were gonna say Waterworld.
Revolutions.
No, like I love the Underworld franchise,
Yeah, yeah.
and one of the songs on there, I think it was called like "Made of Stone." There's like a Ryan Holder remix of that one. Is by Evanescence. They sing
yeah.
the Amy or whatever. But on Spotify, they delisted it. So like they just took it down completely. You can't even get that on Spotify, and they can't find it on Apple either. But YouTube, right there, YouTube
Yeah.
Music,
Which
right there, no problem.
Because on Spotify, a lot of music, especially from video games, randomly gets delisted. Like
Yeah.
Guilty Gear soundtrack, that whole soundtrack is gone now.
Just gone.
But on YouTube Premium, if it gets delisted from their whatever their like specific library, guess what? The YouTube video that has the song is still there. Just move that over.
Pretty much. So, yeah, YouTube Premium, everybody. This is not sponsored, but YouTube Premium.
YouTube though, if you want to reach out and sponsor me, I'm speaking droves out here. I'll get everyone on your side.
Oh my goodness.
They almost got me.
Yeah, see, Jeremy's gonna start using it after today. And he's gonna see the light.
Yeah. I will say though, they do give you access to like adjust for like your audio settings and stuff, so you might be able to find like a sweet spot.
I have to like redo all my playlists on Spotify, which is let me see, about like 50 of this shit, maybe 100 playlists.
There's definitely websites out there that'll do that for
transfer
you.
it to you with extensions.
You can pull it in and then it'll just port it, and then there you go. You just simple process. Simple. That's all I'm saying.
I can say simple. I'm very particular about the music I listen to.
Yeah. You better than me because I just left Spotify. I said I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I just left Spotify.
Like I don't have time.
I just rebuild my playlist from like as time goes on.
Now, for me, what's at least for me and Jenny, what's been pushing us to get rid of Spotify has been just the Discover Weekly. It used to be really good.
It's really bad now.
It used to be great. I would find new music there all the time that I love. It has been dog shit for the last like maybe 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And it got to be so bad within like the last 2 weeks that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look into it. Am I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
I legitimately thought there has to be somebody logged into my account somewhere
just listening to
like
shit.
Yeah, like it was so far off from what I listened to that I was like, there has to be another reason for this, right? So I logged in, tried to find out. No, obviously nobody hacked into my account. There's nothing like that going on. But I did find an article that said that they fired most of their music curators and engineers that were working on the Discover Weekly playlist. And so I was like, that's what it was. And they replaced them with AI 100%. And so I was like,
as a side note,
that's what it is.
As a side note, YouTube's music, they do like mixes for you based on what you're listening and also genres you're listening to. And because YouTube's algorithm obviously that does that with YouTube videos, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
But yeah, we have been thinking about that.
Download it, and then we will all, compare notes.
Yeah.
So
I'll get back to you when I listen to it in the car. That's why I mainly listen to music.
Yeah,
that and like sometimes during work. But
it'll be good.
All right, we'll see about that.
But yeah, overall game preservation. My closing thoughts, I guess, is that again, I think blockchain's a good idea. for that if it was a government account, being able to hold the info so it can't just be stripped away for whatever reasons. Fortnite needs to stop. But
Right.
yeah,
Fortnite needs to stop.
there it is.
I was sick, so I didn't talk a whole lot because it just makes me cough. So I didn't get to give a lot of my opinions. But I think game preservation is extremely important, and I feel like we should do something. I just wish I was more educated and informed in that area to give you like a better answer than it just needs to be better, because I don't exactly know how to go about it.
It's been definitely a hot topic for like the last couple of months now.
Yeah.
And it needs to be better. So
we'll do our good old, what have we been doing this week? Jeremy, what have you done this week?
Well, I did come back from California last week. That was a fun trip for work. Went to Universal Studios for like 16 hours. The daytime, and then went to dinner, and we came back for the Halloween night. That was fun. Then I went to a WB studio tour. That was really good.
That's
if
cool.
I had the money, I would buy a WB right now and fix their shit.
I see.
And then that Saturday we went to Crystal Cove Beach. Yeah, with my boss. And came back home Sunday, so it was a pretty good week.
Okay,
sounds awesome, dude.
What about you, Daquan?
Working on AI for a game, and vehicle AI. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nice.
Vehicle AI. But other than that, I've been working on that other project at the same time. So getting some fun stuff going on that one as well. So just some development and then getting jumped in For Honor continually.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
What about you,
That's about
Chris?
it.
I just finished a book called Q the Sun by Emily Nussbaum. It's a book about the reality show industry and how it started, and this is goes back into radio era time and the first reality shows and stuff like that, and follows the writer's strikes in 2008 and all that. It's really interesting because it shows. I thought that the industry just kind of happened organically, but it's crazy how many how many of the shows that are around right now you can trace back to a handful of people working their butts off to get them going. It's a great read. It's super fast, but if you ever want to listen to something that's something you never really thought about, it's a great book.
Gotcha. For me, I've just been coughing this entire week, so I haven't been getting very much sleep because it acts up when I'm laying down or trying to lay down. As you can see, my wall of pillows over there, even elevated, I cough. So it's basically me fighting my demons at night for about 5-6 hours until about 4 or 5 a.m. I pass out from exhaustion, and then my body then wakes me up by coughing at 8, or for work it's at 7. So I haven't been getting much sleep, and I haven't really been doing much other than playing Zelda Zone Zero and League of Legends. So that's where I'm at. So hopefully next week I won't sound like this and I won't be coughing and I can actually speak. So we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. Thanks for listening again. Again, we're sorry for the last week's episode. It was short. If it wasn't for me being sick, we would have had an actual proper episode. So thanks for listening. Please listen in next week. It'll be better. I promise.